The 16th century was a time of great change in Latin America, a period marked by significant upheaval and transformation. Spanish conquistadors arrived, bringing with them new ideas, technologies, and diseases that would forever alter the course of history. This marked the beginning of Spanish colonization, a process that would reshape the entire continent. This period brought both advancements and destruction, as ancient civilizations were dismantled and new structures were erected. The indigenous populations of Latin America faced brutal conquest and exploitation, suffering greatly under the new regime. The arrival of the Spanish forever changed the cultural and social landscape of the region, blending traditions and creating a new, complex society. The Spanish conquistadors were driven by a thirst for gold and a desire to spread Christianity, often at any cost. They came from a powerful empire with advanced weaponry, which gave them a significant advantage over the indigenous peoples. They also carried diseases that would prove devastating to the native populations, leading to widespread illness and death. The arrival of the Spanish would lead to the fall of mighty empires and the enslavement of countless indigenous people, forever altering the history of Latin America. The Aztecs and Incas were two of the most powerful empires in pre-Columbian America, each with their own unique cultures, traditions, and advancements. The Aztecs ruled over central Mexico from their magnificent capital city, Tenochtitlan, which was an architectural marvel of its time. The Incas controlled a vast empire that stretched along the Andes Mountains in South America, known for their advanced engineering and road systems. The arrival of the Spanish conquistadors spelled doom for both empires, bringing with them diseases and superior weaponry. Hernán Cortés led the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire with a combination of military might and strategic alliances. He arrived in Mexico in 1519 with a small force, but his ambitions were vast. Cortés exploited rivalries among indigenous groups and formed alliances, turning former enemies into crucial allies. This helped him overpower the Aztecs, leading to fierce battles and eventual victory. The fall of Tenochtitlan in 1521 marked the beginning of Spanish rule in Mexico, changing the region forever. Francisco Pizarro led a similar expedition against the Inca Empire in 1532, driven by the lure of immense wealth. He captured the Inca emperor Atahualpa in a bold and cunning move. This threw the empire into chaos, allowing the Spanish to conquer it with relative ease, marking the end of an era. After conquering the Aztecs and Incas, the Spanish needed a way to exploit the land's resources and maximize their newfound wealth. They established the encomienda system, a form of forced labor. This system forced indigenous people into labor, often under harsh and inhumane conditions. The Spanish crown granted encomenderos the right to use indigenous labor, essentially turning them into feudal lords. In theory, the encomenderos were supposed to protect and Christianize the indigenous people under their control, but this was rarely the case. However, the system quickly devolved into one of brutal exploitation and severe mistreatment. Indigenous people were forced to work in mines and on plantations. They endured horrible conditions with little to no respite. Many died from overwork, malnutrition, and disease, leading to a significant decline in the indigenous population. The encomienda system decimated the indigenous population and enriched the Spanish colonizers, leaving a lasting impact on the region. The Spanish conquistadors brought more than just weapons and horses to the Americas. They unknowingly carried diseases that would prove far more deadly. Smallpox, measles, and influenza ravaged the indigenous populations. These populations had no immunity to these diseases. The results were catastrophic. Millions of indigenous people died. Entire communities were wiped out. The demographic collapse was staggering. The spread of disease played a significant role in the Spanish conquest. It weakened the indigenous resistance and paved the way for Spanish domination. The introduction of European diseases was a tragic consequence of the Columbian Exchange.